Hey guys, it's Bish from Inview. Welcome to my first how-to video. I've had a lot of requests asking me how I edit my photos, mainly my landscape photography. So I've picked one of my favorites, which is a photo from Ghent, a nice cute little town in Belgium. I'm going to show you the how-to before and after of how I edit the photo. A disclaimer, I'm not the best photographer, I'm not the best editor, so you may find things that you do things differently or better. So be it. This is me, this is how I am, and this is my work. So I'm going to show you the inspo photo that I found off Google. So this is the photo that inspired me to go to this town, which I'd never heard of, and to take a similar sort of shot to this. Now, due to things that were in the way, I couldn't really get the exact same angle, so I went down to the bottom on the concourse by the water and took my shot from there. So I'm just going to load up a Lightroom, and as you can see here, this is the original image. So we're going to edit the original photo and try and get it to look as close as we can to this. Now, because I edited this a few months ago, I'm going to try and get it as close as I can to this, but it doesn't matter if it doesn't turn out exactly the same. We're just going to give you an idea of how I edit and the workflow from beginning to end. So let's go back to the original photo. Now, the first thing that I'm going to do is a really cool feature in Lightroom, which corrects the aspect of the photo. Now, as you can see, because the camera is on a tripod looking up at the buildings, all the buildings are on an angle. So what Lightroom can do is it can just pull everything back and straighten it back up, so it looks like you're looking at it dead on, and all the lines are nice and straight. So all these lines here that are on an angle of these buildings, we're going to get them nice and straight. So the first thing we'll do is we're going to tick all these correction boxes. And we have an auto function where Lightroom will automatically do what it thinks is best. And as you can see there, it's pulled back the image and straightened it all up, and all the lines are nice and straight now. Sometimes this doesn't work 100% and it goes way off, and you can finally adjust these with the manual settings. You've got your horizontal here, which is the left and right. Things may be off a bit left and right. And then you've got your vertical. So the original image was something like that, and then Lightroom pulled it back. And you can use these grid lines as a reference point so that we can try and get the lines of that building to be perpendicular with the grid lines, which is about there. So this is our starting point now, and as you can see, already this makes a much better aesthetically looking image. So now we'll go back up and we'll adjust the white balance. Always shoot in auto, so that way it makes it better for you to edit later on. If you go to auto, you can see that it'll adjust the white balance from the original shot of 5750, which is a bit very cool. And if we go to auto, it goes to 7500, which warms it up a little bit and makes it look a bit more like a sunset sort of shot. Now we'll brighten the image up by increasing the whites. So you can see here that we can go as high as we want to. We'll bring the highlights down. And we can increase some of the shadows, but not too much, so that we don't lose too much detail. We'll increase the clarity to make everything pop a bit more. And we'll increase the vibrance so that we can bring some of the colors out. Now, you don't want to go too high like this, otherwise you can see that the blue's just ruined in the sky. So we'll bring that down a little bit. Now we can adjust the blacks. If you go up, it sort of acts like a shadow and increases the shadows, or we can go down and then it blackens the image, makes it a bit more dramatic and makes all the colors a bit more darker. Now again, you can adjust all these sliders as you wish, and nothing is wrong. There's no wrong answer here. It's just whatever you like the look of. Now if we go down to the tone curve, we can increase the highlights here, which will make the clouds pop a bit more. Now again, just not too much. And then we can go down and we can increase the individual colors on their own. For example, if you want the clouds to, the sky to be a bit more blue, you can increase the blues. If you want to add a bit more warmth, you can increase the orange, and so on. Now another thing you can do is if you find something that you want to remove, Lightroom has a basic sort of adjustment brush where you can remove something. For example, this little sign here, because we have some bricks behind it that Lightroom can reference, we can remove that. So if we go over here to the spot removal tool, and increase the size so that it overlaps this sign, and then we'll just drag this tool over the sign, and let's see what Lightroom does. It's going to try and reference a point that it's going to match. Now clearly that doesn't work, as you can see, so what we can do is we'll just drag this over and find another spot where it has similar look and material. So these bricks over here, for example, and then we can move it up and down just so that the lines of the bricks or the stones line up and that it blends in. Now I'm not going to spend too much time trying to find this, just to give you an idea of how we can very basically remove some of the things in the image that you don't want to be there. It doesn't work that great, and you can probably do a better job in Photoshop or something, but this is just very basic. I really wish I could get rid of this ugly white truck that's ruined my photo, but hey, what do you do? Now we can use the adjustment brush, and I've got a template here on clarity 25 and sharpness 15, just to give a bit more clarity to certain parts of the image. For example, maybe the front face of this building, maybe this arch of the bridge. Another thing you can do is to make the clouds pop a bit. Do the same thing with the clouds, making sure that you don't touch the buildings or anything else, otherwise it doesn't look that great. And the best way to do this, and to spend a bit of time on doing this, is to zoom in, and then with your mouse wheel adjust the size of this brush, so that way you can finally go around the edges of the building, or vice versa if you want to sharpen the building and not the clouds. Now another thing that I spend a bit of time on doing is, sometimes you don't notice this, but you may see some tiny imperfections. This may be due to a dirty sensor, a dirty filter, or even water, rain droplets, or whatever it may be. Sometimes if they appear over a building or something, you won't notice them. In this case, we have a lot of area of the image that's very plain. For example, the clouds or the sky, you might notice them. For example, you might notice all these spots here in the sky or in the clouds. So I noticed them straight away, and the first thing I'd want to do is remove them, especially if you're going to blow up this image. They're going to be very noticeable. So we go over to our spot removal tool. We make sure that the size of the tool, the circle, is just bigger than the spot you want to remove, and we just click. And because it's a very easy, plain sort of area, Lightroom will find it very easy to find a spot that's similar and replace it. So you wait for it to do its thing. If you're happy with that, you can leave it. If not, you can always drag this circle to another spot. We click on done. We can go over to here and do the same thing over here. And you can continue doing so with all the tiny imperfections in the image that you can find. Now as you can see, this is our final product. It's a nice, beautiful edited photo. That's how I edit in Lightroom, my workflow from beginning to end. As I mentioned, everyone has their own style. You can adjust all the different sliders and the tools to your liking. There is no wrong answer. Most of these sliders from one scale to the other still make a very nice photo. You find whatever works for you, and that's your style. So I hope that I've taught you a thing or two about my editing style. Thanks to all those who have asked me how I edit my photos. So this is my video and my sample on how I edit my photos. Hopefully there'll be more videos to come. Keep watching, like and comment. Feel free to contact me for any other further questions, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.